Have you ever wondered why there are different communities or tribes in different countries that speak the same language and basically have the same culture? So let's talk about that. You see, when the colonialists came to Africa, and I'll speak in the context of East Africa because I'm East African. When they came to East Africa, we all know that they used the divide and conquer rule. So the colonialists came, the white colonizers, and the scramble and partition of Africa occurred, whereby the colonizers decided which countries they're going to colonize, and that was it, without consent from the locals or from the indigenous people. So in the case of Kenya, us being colonized by the British, I think the scramble happened during the Berlin Conference, whereby the whites went and decided, oh yeah, I want to take Kenya. Kenya is mine, Uganda is mine, Tanzania is mine, Rwanda is mine. That happened. So when the whites put the map of Africa on the table and each of them decided to take their share, and they set up the geographical boundaries, they did not really have a clue of how the locals operated or how the indigenous people lived or how the cultures coexisted with each other. So we had a case whereby the colonialists divided Africa, but they ended up dividing communities and cultures that were living together. Because back then, with no geographical locations, the communities used to move around and coexist with each other. There was no boundary. There was no really, okay, land was owned, but sometimes communally. So there was no like a strict boundary that this and this is Kenya and here is Uganda, or here and here is Tanzania. There was no strict boundary. So you find, for instance, let's talk in the case of the Maasais. There are Maasais in Tanzania and there are Maasais in Kenya. That is one community because they do everything similar. Everything is similar. They speak the same language, behave the same way, have the same culture. So that is a community that has been divided into two because of the geographical locations that were put by the white people. If you talk about, for instance, let's say the River Lake Nilotes, we have the Luos. Most of them, they are in different countries because of the boundaries that have been put in place. Because the white man had no understanding that these people are from the same culture, are from the same, let's say, the same cultural background, but they move around a lot. So they could not, then they just put the boundaries that here and here is this country, here and here is this country. But they did not have an understanding that there was some sort of coexistence between the people and between the cultures, even beyond the geographical boundaries. So that is why you find there is an Acholi in Kenya, in Uganda, or a Lango who understands a Luo in Kenya. That is why you find Karamojong in Uganda understand Tesos in Kenya, or vice versa. That is why you find the Maasais in Tanzania speak the same language, yet they are different. But in reality, in real sense, they are brothers because that is one community. That is a community that does everything the same way. So you wonder, how is it that they exist in different countries? It's because the white man sat down and said, I want Kenya, and Kenya will start from here and end here. And that is how they decided, and that is how it came to be. So I was having a discussion with someone, and they said, like, a lot of civil wars that we experience in Africa, for instance, we've seen countries like